Luciano Pavarotti was in his 20s, he began to take voice lessons. And he listened to everything that his teacher told him. And he did everything that the teacher wanted him to do. And it's that example of complete trust. In the natural order, like athletes will do whatever their coaches tell them, eat whatever they say they should eat. Trust leads to action. Faith leads to action. And I think that's the progression in today's gospel. The apostles begin, increase our faith, because faith is the foundation. Without faith, there's no hope. Without hope, there's no charity. St. Thomas Aquinas says that the order of procession of the virtues is faith, hope, and charity. Faith is the first one, hope is the second, charity is the third. The order of priority of the virtues, theological virtues, is charity is the most important. Okay? But the order of procession begins with faith. I think that was part of the problem in the 60s. People were concentrating on service, but they neglected to teach the faith. Okay? And that probably extended through the 70s and the 80s. Okay? Neglecting to teach the foundation, you're never going to be properly motivated for charity. Okay? But faith is the foundation on which, if we have great faith, we can have great hope. And if we have great hope, we can do great works of charity. Even in that, our Lord is strengthening the faith in that first reading, the book of the prophet Habakkuk. He says, "How long, O Lord, I cry for help, but you do not listen." Okay. God is increasing his faith. God does not give him a timetable, but he gives him a command. Okay. Again, connection between faith and action. Okay. Increase my faith that I can do great wonders. Okay. Ultimately, that's the aim. Okay. St. John of the Cross would say that there's no limit to what God can accomplish in the soul whose only desire is to please him. Okay? If we have great faith, we can accomplish great works of charity. The curé of Ars said that one day he received 2 letters. One of them praised him, said that he was a great saint. The other accused him of being a fake and a hypocrite. And St. John commented, he said, "The letter of praise gave me nothing. The letter of criticism took nothing from me. I am what I am in the eyes of God and nothing more." Those theological virtues of faith, hope, and charity gives us great freedom. It gives us freedom from the constraints of this world, seeking after approval, all the things of this world that would attract us. Okay? It says, "The criticism took nothing from me, the praise gave nothing to me. I am what I am in the sight of God, and nothing more." That's the faith perspective. We get our self-image from how God sees us. And once we have that faith, to know that God is orchestrating the universe for us, we see the power of grace in our own weakness. Saint Therese, when she was a child, she once saw the devil outside of her window, and he was hiding in the bushes. And from that vision, she understood that a child in the state of grace is an object of terror to demons. To be in the state of grace is to repulse evil. Evil is repulsed by God. It's not natural, it's supernatural. Let's see, St. Aloysius Gonzaga would say, "It is better to be a child of God than the king of the whole world." Okay? Because the child of God in the state of grace has more power. He has the power to repulse evil. To St. Faustina, our Lord said, "Remember this, sister, for your whole life. As water flows from the mountains into the valleys, so too do God's graces flow only into humble souls." Okay? Humility is the prerequisite. Humility is reliance on God. And that's what faith is. Humility relies on God, not on self. St. Faustina's response was, "In my own interior life, I am looking with one eye at the abyss of my weakness, and with the other at the abyss of your mercy, O God." Okay. So knowing my weakness, my inadequacy, I put my trust not in myself, but in God. That's humility, that's faith. Okay. Like there's that prayer that says, "Lord, keep one arm around my waist and the other over my mouth." Because it's God's grace that prevents me from saying things I shouldn't say. Maybe the 21st century version of that might be, "Lord, keep one arm around my waist and the other over my blog." Okay? We say things we shouldn't say, but by God's grace, he delivers us from saying and doing things we shouldn't. St. Therese also recognized, she said, the necessity of grace to accomplish any good. She said, "For me to love you, Jesus, as you love me, I would have to borrow your own love." Okay? In order for me to love God, I have to borrow his love. Okay? For me to love you, Jesus, as you love me, I would have to borrow your own love, and then only would I be at rest. St. Therese would say, "I want to find an elevator that would raise me up to Jesus. The elevator would be the arms of Jesus lifting her up in her littleness." St. Augustine says, "We do the works, but God works in us the doing of the works." Okay? So that's the theological way of saying it, a more theological way. We do the works, but God works in us the doing of the works. On prayer, St. Therese would say, "Prayer is a surge of the heart. It is a simple look toward heaven. It is a cry of recognition of love, embracing both trials and joy." So that's why there's that progression in that gospel. Increase our faith. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you would say to this mulberry tree, "Be uprooted and planted in the sea." Okay? It would obey you. Okay? Faith has this ability to accomplish great things. Great faith gives us great hope. And then finally, at the end, the servant who does everything the master says, "When you have done all that you have been commanded, say, 'We are unprofitable servants. We have done what we are obliged to do.'" Okay? To do all the master asked of us is charity. It's to be full of grace. But to say we have done only what we are obliged to do is to be rooted in humility. Okay? The only foundation of charity is humility. Any other foundation, it doesn't last. Okay? The foundation for any virtue actually is humility. So faith, hope, charity, and that keeps our charity always rooted in God, not in ourselves. Recognition that it's God's grace enabling us to accomplish whatever we do.